Christ, which he will display at the proper time. He who is the blessed and only sovereign, the King of kings, the Lord of lords, who alone has immortality, who dwells in an unapproachable light, whom no one has ever seen or can see.
Whom is that talking about?
That is talking about the fact that Jesus is the first fruits of the resurrection. He has defeated death. He has immortality because he's gone through death and come out in life at the other side.
So what does immortal mean to you?
And he is sat at the right hand of the Father, who no one can see. Immortal is life, full of life.
What is immortal to you? The meaning of immortal in the context of that verse?
The meaning of immortal in the context of this verse is that you cannot be killed because he's already gone through death and come out the other side.
So you're saying immortal is someone who cannot be killed?
Yes.
Okay. Was he killed on the cross?
This verse
yes.
is written after Jesus has already resurrected.
I know.
Yes.
That's why it makes it even more important.
No, because he's now immortal because he's gone through death and come out in
I don't think you understand the meaning of immortal.
No,
immortal doesn't mean...
I understand the word immortal. You don't understand.
Okay, so you said immortal means what?
Immortal means...
In the context of that verse,
yeah? Immortal means that you're not able to die. It means that you're not mortal. That is what the word
exactly.
means. He is not mortal. That's because fine. He has gone through mortality, okay. He has died, he is resurrected, and he now is immortal.
Okay, let me ask you a slightly different question. Do you believe that Father, who is not Jesus, is the Father immortal?
Yes.
Has the Father ever died?
No.
Okay, now with regards to Jesus, is Jesus immortal?
He is now.
I didn't ask you now or later. Is he immortal?
The answer to your question is that Jesus is immortal now.
Okay, so you're telling me anyone who resurrects is immortal?
Yes.
Are you going to be resurrected one day?
Yes.
Are you then immortal?
Yes.
Okay, so that statement there, the term only is there before the term immortal. Or the term alone. He alone is immortal. Do you remember the example? Wait, hear me out. Let me finish.
No, because I'm just addressing your point.
No, you will. Let me finish the statement.
He is immortal because he is the only one who has gone through resurrection. He is the one who is the first fruits of the resurrection.
Those are your words. It doesn't say that in there.
He alone is immortal. It says those words. We're not immortal now because we haven't.
It also says no one has seen him.
No one has seen the Father but the Son. So if you read the other verses in the Bible, no one has seen the Father but the Son.
So once again, is this passage talking about the Son or the Father?
All the way through the Bible, passages
this passage,
God the Father and God the Son.
This passage in particular, 1 Timothy 6:16, is it talking about the Son or the Father?
It's talking about the fact that Jesus is at the side of the Father, unapproachable.
When he says he alone is immortal, whom no man has seen or can see, that particular passage, is it about the Father or the Son?
If it's talking about no man ever having...
Don't tell me if. This passage, whom is it talking about?
I'm answering your question.
Okay.
It's talking about the fact that we cannot ever see the Father because only Jesus can see the Father.
So is that passage, once again...
immediate light as well.
In the immediate light
once again, is that passage, let's clarify it once and for all. That passage, he alone is immortal, whom no man has seen or can see. Is that, please stop interrupting, paper boy. That's very rude of you.
He's asking many questions.
You see, no Muslims are interrupting. No Muslims are interrupting. I think it's only fair that if one person speaks to another person, others it gets all. You can find someone else to speak to if you want. I've made this clear many times. Okay. What I'm saying is that it says he alone is immortal, whom no man has seen. Have people seen Jesus?
Yeah, people have seen Jesus.
Is that passage about Jesus or the Father?
The passage is about the fact that the Lord Jesus Christ is resurrected and is sat at the right hand of the Father, who no man has seen, and is in an inapproachable light.
So you're telling me...
can never approach the throne of God the Father.
So you're telling me that Jesus was not seen by anyone?
No, I'm not saying that.
So how can that relate? Wait. Once again, this is the third time I'm asking. Is that passage, he alone is immortal, listen this time, he alone is immortal, whom no man hath seen or can see. Is it about the Son or the Father?
Can you see Jesus right now?
You see, question is a question.
Yeah, that's fine.
I will answer your question once you answer mine. This passage, is it about the Father or the Son? Please answer sincerely.
It's about the Son.
So Jesus had never been seen.
I've said that already. I did answer that previously.
What is that?
I answered your question previously.
Which is what?
It was about that this passage is about God the Son. It says specifically.
So Jesus never died and Jesus was never seen by anyone.
No, that's not true because I've addressed both of your points. I've addressed the fact that
you haven't.
Yes, I have.
How?
Because it says that he's immortal because he's already been through death, and in his when he took on flesh, he died on the cross. He was resurrected. He has gone through mortality into immortality, and that is the promise that we have when we trust in him.
Do you see the contradictions in the terms in the phrase you made? When you said,
I'm answering your question about.
Can I answer without interrupting? I'll let you speak. Okay? You said he's immortal because he's been through death.
Yes.
The term death means what? He died.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyone who dies is called mortal or immortal?
So he was mortal, he died, he rose again, and he is immortal.
Okay, so in other words, you're telling me that God changed his nature from becoming immortal to mortal, dying by his own creation, and then rising again from death. In other words, you're telling me that God can change his nature, despite the fact that in the Bible, in the book of Malachi, in the chapter 3, verse 6, it clearly says that God doesn't change his nature. So you're telling me he became from immortal to mortal, and then again immortal.
No,
doesn't make sense
but
at all.
at no point is he not God. Like, you're assuming that when he died, he was no longer God, and that he changed his nature.
Yes. I am saying as soon as immortal becomes mortal, i.e. he dies.
No.
Let me finish the statement at least.
I know, but like, I've answered your question.
No, you haven't.
Yes,
because
I have.
you have contradicted yourself.
Just because you don't understand my answer,
Let me know when you
doesn't mean
finish.
I haven't answered
No,
it.
I have understood your answer very well. However, one thing you haven't realized is the contradiction in the statement you made. You said he went through death.
Yeah.
The term immortal in the English language,
I understand.
you're
what
doing
the
it
term
again while I'm
immortal
talking,
means.
you're interrupting.
I know, but you're reinforcing things.
I'm not reinforcing anything. I'm looking at the definition based on the Bible and based on the English language as well. The term immortal means not subject to death, let alone for 3 days and 3 nights, not subject to death even for a microsecond, like the Father. The Father never ever died.
No, he didn't.
Good.
And I didn't
The
say that he-
Son, according to you, died on the cross for 3 days and 3 nights.
Yeah.
Do you agree? So for 3 days and 3 nights, was he mortal or immortal?
Well, he was obviously mortal because
Thank you.
you cannot die
Thank
if you are
okay.
immortal.
So if he was, let me finish.
When,
Let me
no,
finish.
no, because I've already addressed the answer. I've already given
No,
you an
you haven't.
answer
You've
to this.
contradicted
yes,
yourself.
I have. No, I haven't.
You haven't.
No, I haven't.
Where's your husband, by the way? I would like to have a word with him as well.
I mean-
Maybe if he agrees with you. Because the
Well,
thing
he
is,
will because it's a Christian
well,
faith and he's
it
also
is-
a Christian.
No, not necessarily all Christians agree. Trust me. I've come
well-
across many. In fact, if I ask everyone about the definition of Trinity, I get as many answers as the number of people I ask. Because you see, when Jesus, the whole purpose of you being saved is because of the death of Jesus. Am I right?
Yeah, and
So-
resurrection. The
Yeah,
death
exactly.
and resurrection
So
of Jesus.
if I ask you this question, does death and resurrection apply to an immortal being? Listen to the question before you answer.
Yeah.
Immortal being means, and correct me if my definition is wrong. Immortal from what I've seen, yes, and this is the term athanasia in Greek.
Okay.
Okay, it means not subject to death.
Yeah.
Means anytime. Not for a part of the day or night, not for a part of 3 days or night, not even for a microsecond. Like the Father means no death touches him. No death applies to him. Okay? That is the Father, not the Son. The Son, according to you, if you do not believe in the crucifixion, you wouldn't be a Christian. Am I right?
Yeah.
So for you to be a Christian, that is one thing that you really have to believe, and this applies to all the Christians, to the Mormons, to the Jehovah's Witnesses, to the Christian born-agains, to the Catholics, the Protestants. Everyone believes in this one doctrine, the doctrine of crucifixion. Yes? I'm glad Paperboy went. Okay, so what I'm saying is here is that Jesus' death is something that you have to believe as a fundamental doctrine.
Yeah, if you don't believe in the death and resurrection of Jesus, you're not
Exactly.
Christian.
So the question now, which you have to really understand the question this time and answer is this: does death and resurrection apply to a being who never dies at all? An immortal being?
So it doesn't apply to God the Father because
you.
we've already established that.
Yes.
Jesus came, he took on human flesh in order to address our sin, because the only way that we can be forgiven and know true life is for death to be defeated. So when Jesus came, he took on mortality, he took on human flesh, he went through death and the grave and took on all of the sin of the world, and he was risen again to life and defeated death and then became immortal.
Okay. So for you, I think the meaning of immortal is lost in this.
It isn't lost.
Look,
You're just
I let you
not
speak without interrupting.
I know, that's fine, but you're being quite patronising.
No, I'm not
and saying
patronizing.
that I don't understand
no,
the word
because you
immortal.
don't actually. Because
I do.
based on what you said he went through death. That itself disqualifies Jesus of any immortality.
So he's mortal, he goes through death, the resurrection makes him immortal.
No,
So,
the
yes,
resurrection
yes.
makes him mortal.
No, it doesn't, because he defeats death.
Okay, so in other words,
He cannot die once he's
in other
been
words,
through
that
death.
passage I gave you in First Timothy 6. Bro, one second. First Timothy 6:16. Yeah, wait. First Timothy 6:16 says, "He alone." The term "alone" signifies
Hold on.
He is the only one. He is the only one to whom it applies. It shows exclusivity.
So
See what I mean?
Concentrate on what there's like
Exclusive.
This brother's talking from himself. He's not talking from the Quran. He's talking from his view.
By the way, will you stop touching me? There's no need.
Explain it from the Quran's view as a Muslim. Stop a minute. Stop.
Okay, anyway.
I did go on and listen to explain.
Sorry, it's getting a little bit overly aggressive, so I'm just gonna make an exit and maybe you can talk to someone else.
If you want, you can continue this. We don't have to respond to it.
Yeah, no,
that's the reason I didn't want many
like,
people to interrupt.
I've just kind of, I don't think, I've made my point. And
I wanted to
we're
ask
not
you
here to
something,
be
please.
answered.
I'm gonna ask you one question.
You can go, that's fine. I do not talk to hecklers.
Do you have a spirit? Do you have a soul?
I do not talk to hecklers. So anyway, I think with this we probably conclude. The ones who watch the videos, guys, come here. Come in the side.
You cannot.
Hashim will only run away.
Yes.
I
ran away from mad people. You're right.
Yeah, you are insane.
So basically,
Hashim will only run away.
stop shouting. Get away from me.
What's wrong with you?
Don't shout in my ear.
I'm shouting on his ear. I can stand there and talk.
Get away from me.
Get away.
Okay? You see, this is called harassment.
It's not
And I
harassment.
think
Camera.
anyone who shouts in the ear is called
You
harassment.
touch me first.
Yes.
You're a liar.
You stop heckling.
I'm not heckling you. You're a liar. You are empty.
Stop
You have
spitting on
nothing
me.
to offer. You're a
Do you guys
liar.
always spit? What's this, man?
Go away.
Okay,
You're a
come here.
liar.
I agree
You
with
see,
you. Sir,
you see
I agree with
how
you.
much pain
I agree with you.
the dawah is causing.
You're a liar.
Alhamdulillah.
You're a liar.
When the truth comes, this is what happens. The falsehood comes as well, but they disappear. They have to disappear because the falsehood cannot stand the truth. The point I wanted to make to that lady over there was that death only applies to mortals. It does not apply to immortals. She kept insisting that death applied to Jesus, but he's still immortal. That shows contradiction. Yes, the reason family is very angry is because I destroyed him very badly, and he's still licking his wounds.
Follow Jesus.
Jazakallah khairan.
Follow Jesus.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi
Stop
wa
following
barakatuh.
Muhammad. We go to